Welcome back to Central Valley Business. I'm Mike Briggs, and our next guest is Steve.
Starcher.
Steve Starcher, and we're out on the river. Look at that. There's a lot of fun stuff going there.
Yeah,
people kayaking, canoeing, and enjoying nature.
Right.
Now, this is a business.
Actually, it's a nonprofit organization. It's a project of the San Joaquin River Stewardship Program, and we're dedicated to providing recreation, education, and stewardship programs that connect people with the San Joaquin River, promote water safety, health and fitness, and teach the importance of water resources for California's future.
Yeah, and I heard you talking inside about the Disneyland experience.
Oh, yeah. We every year we offer kayak trips on the San Joaquin River, and we go from Lost Lake Park all the way down the Highway 41, and it's a wonderful trip. It's a journey through Fresno urban wilderness. You'll see all kinds of wildlife. The currents are usually they're gentle enough for beginners, but challenging enough for people who like a little bit of adventure. And we always advise people as they start off on their trip that it's not like going to Disneyland. There's no magical hook there. It's going to grab your kayak or paddleboard and pull you through the rapids. So you have to learn how to paddle.
Yeah. I did, when I was in the legislature, San Joaquin River Parkway took me, they had their own canoes, I guess. They took me on the trip down there. You learn. It's sometimes you tumble into the water.
Yeah, we have experienced guides that go with you. We're actually recognized by the state of California Department of Boating and Waterways as an aquatic center. We're the only one between Sacramento and Los Angeles and the only one in the Central Valley. So we receive funding every year from them to purchase kayaks, and also we offer scholarships for inner city kids. In fact, we have a summer paddle sport camp, and over 50% of the kids in that camp actually receive scholarships through the Department of Boating and Waterways, and there's no cost. So they learn water safety, they learn what to do, they learn how to paddle, and learn what to do in case they tip over.
Yeah, that's important to know, I would imagine. Now, I may be funny or may not be that funny. I'm 57 years in Fresno, my entire life, and most of my life, I didn't know there was a river there. And we had gone to Lost Lake, which is a river, but it just never dawned on us. Just think, there's this, what did you call it, urban wilderness?
There's an urban wilderness that is going through Fresno, and there's an abundance of wildlife. And on our kayak trips, you'll see deer. In the evening, you'll see beaver, raccoons, possums, herons, egrets, great white pelicans. In the wintertime now, you'll see bald eagles. There's bald eagles up at Millerton Lake, and there's also some that actually come down to the San Joaquin River. So in the wintertime, you'll actually see eagles out along the river.
Yeah, and this isn't way up in the mountains out in the wilderness. This is in Fresno. This is River Park is right there.
Yeah, and so our motto is Paddle Fresno. You don't have to go to Morro Bay. You don't have to go to Monterey. You don't have to go to Sacramento. You can actually paddle Fresno and have a wonderful experience. We have individuals that come from San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles that go ahead and paddle on the San Joaquin, and they're amazed, and they say, we never knew there was a river like this in Fresno. With the history of the San Joaquin River, with the creation of Bryant Dam and its completion in the 1940s, and the water flow was limited, and as a result, eyes were turned away from the San Joaquin River, and it no longer was the center of community life it once was. Right. But at one time, it was the center of community life. We didn't have River Park, we didn't have large swimming pools, but we always had the San Joaquin River where all the hot and miserable Fresnans could go to cool off.
There was beaches out there and people would swim. And
there were beaches out there, people would swim, and then
somebody said maybe the streetcar went out there.
Yeah, there's actually a streetcar that went from downtown Fresno all the way out pretty close to off of Van Ness Extension out in that area, and they would take Fresnans down there, and they would recreate on Sunday afternoons or whenever they had free time.
Can you imagine a parent just letting the kid just hop the streetcar, go to the San Joaquin River?
Yeah, well, I can imagine parents wanting to get their kids out of the house. And in fact, we're in a time where parents need to start thinking about summer camps. And what are you going to do with these kids that are going to be off school for almost 8 weeks? And we offer a paddle sport camp down at Cobb Ranch. It's a 5-day camp. It's a day camp. And kids can be outdoors, they can be on the water almost all the time. And we teach them how to canoe, kayak, and how to stand up paddleboard. They learn water safety. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of fun and games that are happening. You actually see them. There's all a bunch of fun and games. We play kayak, water polo, and we have races. And they go home every day. They're tired, they're dirty, but they're happy. So go ahead and think about it. We also teach a whole lot about the San Joaquin River. They'll learn about the history of the river, and they'll also connect with some of the science that goes on the river. We'll do different scientific investigations with them, analyzing water quality or macroinvertebrates, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
There's a lot. Now, the 5-day camp, is it one session? You're going to have several
No,
weeks?
we actually do 8 weeks of camp.
8
The
weeks.
camps run all the way from the second week in June, third week in June, all the way up to the first week of August.
So you drop your kid in the morning and pick them up in the late afternoon, wet and muddy and
Happy.
whatever condition you get
Tired
back
and
in.
happy. Yeah, and you'll find out. They'll come home, they'll eat, and they'll probably go to sleep, and then they'll wake up in the morning ready to go. And the camp runs. You drop them off between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and you pick them up between 3:30 and 4 in the afternoon. Send them with a lunch, and they'll have a whole lot of fun. One of the highlights of the camp is we take all the campers who qualify, who learn how to paddle, we take them on the river trip, and they paddle 8.5 miles.
Yeah, it's a long
And
trip. Yeah.
but what's amazing is they become such skilled paddlers. They are so proficient. They make these trips. Last year, we had one paddler who was 6 years old,
Oh, my God.
who actually paddled the entire 8.5 miles himself.
He qualified.
He qualified,
Yeah.
and we teach them how to paddle, and we put them through a whole bunch of drills, and we make sure that they know what to do. He was really motivated by 2 older brothers, and he
Yeah.
wasn't going to let them
let
have
them
this
get
fun
faster,
without
yeah.
him being involved in it.
Now, would they learn to spot and identify some of the wildlife
Sure.
during this class?
Yeah, actually, as we go along, it's not only just a paddling; it's also an interpretive trip. So we'll stop. We'll talk about the native vegetation. We'll also talk about the Native Americans that used to inhabit the river. There's a lot of different sites where you can see where their encampments were, where there's pounding rods. So we'll stop and explain to the paddlers about what's going on and where they're paddling. Also, they get to see what California rivers were once like. They'll discover a riparian forest. And we always relate the fact that, hey, we live in a desert.
Right.
And where you are is not natural habitat. All this water is being thrown out for all this is not really natural. The only place where it was really heavily vegetated in the Fresno area was the San Joaquin River.
Along that river,
It was actually a corridor for wildlife, all the way from the Sierra to the sea.
To the sea, yeah. Now, last year or the year before, we had a deer wander into a Fresno neighborhood. I guess that deer came up from the...
The deer actually comes up from the parkway. There's a very healthy deer herds there. We actually see deer down at our camp. We see deer on a regular basis on our river trip. Especially if we go out at night. We do a moonlight paddle, which is just amazing.
See a whole bunch of different critters at night.
At night, the deer will be down by the water. The beaver will be out, swimming around your boat, and we'll see roosting egrets in trees. But the deer are kind of amazing because you don't really stop and think, being so close to an urban area, that you'll have a population of deer like that. So you'll see the deer. Sometimes they'll wander out, but pretty much they stay confined to their familiar home areas.
Are there raccoons in Fresno?
Oh, there's raccoons, possums, bobcats, and because the increasing population of deer, there's getting to be more mountain lions.
Oh, my gosh.
And we've actually seen mountain lions.
Have you seen one?
Yep, seen them on river trips.
All my life I've wanted to see a mountain lion in the wild. So
Well, I tell you what, we were pretty lucky to be in the water. I wouldn't want to see one on land because they have a tendency to, once again, you have to be really careful. You have to be prepared.
yeah,
So.
got to be ready for this. But they would go in the water, or the mountain lions? Or
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the water taxes. I feel a lot
Yeah.
more safe in the water
Yeah, give me a
than I
little
went on the
buffer in
land.
there.
We actually saw one as we were paddling along the river. He's walking along the shoreline.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
that would be amazing to see one of those. Now, you talked about the summer camps for kids. What about during the year, adults? I mean, can we get involved somehow?
Oh yeah. So right now on Saturdays we actually have we call it Paddle with the Eagles. We have kayaks that we have groups that we take up to Millerton Lake and they go out and look for the bald eagles. pretty soon, and we're getting ready to plan our spring programs. We have a lot of classes that are be going on, designed to get people a little bit back in shape. Actually, go ahead and teach them how to paddle a canoe or a canoe, kayak, or stand-up paddleboard, and get them ready. Then we'll start our river trips, and depending on the water situations, the river trips can run every Saturday, all the way from May all the way up through October. And those for not only for adults but for ages 10 and up. We'd like to have the kids that have upper body strength so they can learn how to paddle. But you can take a class with a certified instructor or go on an 8.5-mile river trip. We also do moonlight paddles. I mentioned that we do moonlight paddles. We recommend that you do take a river trip ahead of time, or you're a really good paddler for
Get some
that.
experience behind you. Yeah.
And then the first 2 weekends in November, we do paddle with the salmon up on the Tuolumne River. So we go up there and watch the salmon returning from the ocean. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And they can do that because the river goes from the ocean all the way up to the Tuolumne
Yeah, the
River.
Tuolumne River is actually connected. We're not connected as of now. We're still not connected. As part of the restoration program, one of the goals is to go ahead and achieve this connection, but because of the historical legacy of the San Joaquin River, it's proving to be more and more difficult to accomplish that task.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's too bad. Now, a couple of years ago, I guess it rained hard, and it flooded down there.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is one of the misnomers. Last year we had a lot of misinformation going out, and because of the drought, everyone thought the San Joaquin River was dry. There was no water to paddle. But in reality, last year was one of the greatest paddling seasons possible, because there were back the last 2 years, because of sustained releases from Friant Dam to meet the needs of exchange contractors. And the exchange contractors are the agricultural interest up north, who had the original San Joaquin River water rights. And because they had those water rights and they had those water rights which were given up. They were actually given up whenever Friant Dam was created in exchange for water from Shasta Reservoir, from the Sacramento River. So whenever that water was not available for the last 2 years, they made the demand, and the water actually was coming down through the San Joaquin River for them. 1,200 cubic foot per second. Now, put this in perspective. You look at the San Joaquin River today, it's like 185 cubic foot per second.
Yeah.
So just amazing paddle. The rapids were awesome. You were just scooting down the river. It was just an amazing paddle almost every Saturday for 6 weeks. Also,
I'm going to take us out, and we'll look at the pictures.
yeah, there you are. Actually, too, and this you should know, that our campers paddled at those flow rates with no problem. Our campers. Yeah. So and plus we have all the equipment. We have life jackets. We have our individual helmets. We protect against impact injuries. We have emergency whistles. We have trained guides with tow ropes and throw lines.
They know how to get people out of trouble.
They know how to get people out of trouble. People
get in trouble, right?
People do. Most of the time they get in trouble because they want to float and not paddle.
Yeah, you got to work it.
So you have to work. You have to know which way to go. But it's an amazing experience, and it's right here in Fresno.
And it's not a float down the Kings River in your inner tube kind of thing. It's
a
serious thing. Now, everybody has helmets. And everybody has helmets and life vests. I took this out of the shot so we could see these pictures a little better.
Actually, what we do, we have kids wear the helmets all the time because they're kind of hard to get them put on and off. With the adults, we just have them put the helmets on through rapids. So if there's a chance of an impact injury, we go ahead and have you put your helmet on. Then you can go ahead and take it off. Majority of the trip, you'll have your helmet off. But just when you go through the rapids, because that's where the chance, you'll go ahead and you'll fall over. You can knock your head around. It's just a little extra safety precaution.
Are these some of the summer camps?
There's some of the summer camp kids. And if you can notice that we have a large portion of inner city kids, and we work with the City of Fresno Parks program. We've done that for, I think, the last 4 years. And through the Department of Boating and Waterways, through their Aquatic Center grant program, they provide funding. And the funding level is approximately $30,000, and almost all of that funding goes for our summer camp and to get these inner city kids out on the water to teach them water safety and basic paddling skills.
And these are kids who probably wouldn't even consider going and doing something like this.
No, they wouldn't consider going and doing it. They also would not know the importance of wearing a life jacket or how to float. And to me, it's just an amazing thing. The first thing we do in our camp, and we tell kids that they have to do this in order to earn their paddle, is teach these kids how to wear a life jacket and how to float.
How to float in a life jacket.
Yeah, and so we'll get them down there. It's almost like baptizing them. And they'll learn how to be calm in the water, just lean back and float. And once they do that, then they run up on shore and they grab their paddle. They're ready to go ahead and get out on the boat.
Well, a lot of people drown in Fresno County in our lakes and rivers. And so getting these kids in young and getting them trained for that is great. Now, if an adult parent is watching this, they want to go themselves and get involved, or take their kids and get involved, or sign up for the summer camp, where's a good place for them to start?
Just you can give me a call. My phone number is 559-289-8874, or just go to our website, riversportscenter.org. If you're right now, we've listened to a lot of parents, and we do have a program for our summer camp that you can pre-register at no cost, and the initial payment isn't due until May 1st, and then the second payment isn't due till June 1st. So
they can get signed up now.
You can get signed up now and get ready to have your kids out of the house and on the river for the summer.
Is there a chance it could sell out or be full?
We were very close to capacity on several of our weeks last year, so very close to capacity.
Yeah, so maybe sign up now. Go to the website. I made a mistake. It's not River Sports with an S. It's River Sport.
River Sports Center.
Riversportcenter.org.
Yes.
Riversportcenter.org. Go look at and sign up and just look at the different programs. Maybe a husband and wife would like to go out there and do the moonlight paddle, or get your family out there and start teaching them to respect and have a healthy relationship with our San Joaquin River. We want to preserve it and have it there for years to come. Anything you want to add before?
Great. No, I really appreciate the opportunity to come, and always remember, you can paddle Fresno and discover your river heritage as a Fresno citizen.
Paddle Fresno. Is it Fresno River Sport?
Fresno River Sports Center.
FresnoRiverSportsCenter.org. We'll be back with more Central Valley business right after this.